Here's the first 3 valve covers I painted. They're fairly clean, not perfect. I put a clear coat on it and whatnot. I don't really like to touch them, but they're pretty dusty right now. Get new valve cover gaskets. I got mine from Amazon, but here I'm halfway through the process. I'll show you guys what's up. So I sanded them all down with 80 grit, or actually 50 grit, and sanded the shit out of them. Got the majority of the paint off, and then what I did was went ahead and did 3 layers of primer. Can find this is what I use from Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer that I got from Lowe's. This is the paint I'm using to paint it with, and this is the clear coat I'm using. And so what we've done here is did the 3 coats of primer, about 2 minutes or so in between each coat, and then I let it dry for about an hour. Then what you want to do is spray a contrasting color on it. I used a black. And then what you do is, I'm in the process, you start sanding it with 400 grit or so. And where this paint, it fills in all the scratches, the deeper scratches you did with the 60 or 80. So I went a 50, a 60, a 120, and then a 300 to smooth everything out. Then I hit it with primer. Then now I'm hitting it with a 400, and then after this I'll start my spray. Clean it off with the tack rig and everything. So I'll show you more later. Enough of the paint off. As you can see, I sanded it back down a decent amount. So next step is, alright, so here's what the first coat looks like. Just light initial spray to get the color on. Now, how to know between coats if it's time to paint is with all this overspray I have in this case. What you want to do is go ahead and touch this wet paint on the side and see how it's sticky and transferring it. It's still too dry, but if it's sticky and isn't transferring, then it's at almost that perfect point where you want to do your next spray. And so, obviously, most people do like a 3 coating. With this, I think I'll do 4 coats. Your last coat, the way it looks wet is the way it's going to look. So what you want to make sure you do is throw on a pretty thick spray. So do your first initial spray like I did. Pretty light, just a base coat to get the color to start sticking. The second one, a medium coat to really get that color transfer. And the third is going to be your wet shine. Alright, so the second stage, and I think what I'm going to make my last stage of clears on. It looks almost better in person than it does on camera, which probably means it's not the best paint job. So what you want to be careful of when you're doing this is not to spray too much clear. I don't know if these products are kind of incompatible, but it looks like it starts to melt the paint, or at least grab it and kind of do some runs. So don't throw your clear on too heavy. Make sure you let it, you want to, like I said before, you want to get to that point. See, this is what I'm talking about. See how it starts to turn a little more white? I don't know how concerned I should be about that. There's a chance it might end up checking because of incompatibility, but we'll see. Especially with the bubbles and stuff we're going on here. But it's been on my other truck for a day, and I put that on the, not my other truck, but the other valve covers for about a day. I haven't got a chance to let the truck run and heat up and see what it does, but I sprayed a lot thicker coats on last time and it didn't check immediately, where I've had other projects where it does. So we'll just give it about overnight, let it really dry before we touch it. And when I touch it, I'm going to still touch it with gloves, throw it on the block, paint my bolts and put it in. So I'll keep you guys posted. I don't feel like waiting, so here's a kind of what the finished product should look like. They're obviously not perfect because on these ones I didn't sand as long. It's kind of dirty now because it's under a truck and it gets dusty, but they feel pretty nice and smooth and whatnot. New valve covers or gaskets I suggest for your covers. And I'm gonna paint those either black or gray because they look kind of shitty. I was hoping that the overspray might end up looking decent, but not the best. But I mean, considering what it looked like before and after, we'll see. More to come.